Happy 20th anniversary Pokemon Red. Pokemon Red and Blue launched one of the biggest gaming franchises in history. It could have just been called Pokemon, just like every original series ever, but instead they went with Red and Blue, already signifying that there may be a sequel. Possibly even more likely referencing the actual characters in the game. My brother considers Pokemon the reason the Game Gear went extinct, and boy do we love the Game Gear. It's one of the most accessible and beginner speedrun games. It's a trainer, monster of JRPG. The character designs in the game are probably the best till Pokemon Pearl and Diamond. Even the trainer 8-bit Game Boy thing really worked for me, even though I wasn't really a Game Boy game design fan. In comparison to the Final Fantasy series, random battles are limited. Unlike Final Fantasy IX Treasure Chests, there's no exclamation marks, making it more difficult to figure out where an item might be dropped prior to YouTube. There are also examples of early Final Fantasy ability drops. The game uses a simplified low HP limited FF1 MP PB limit. There are even elements of Zelda with dungeon crawling, and elements of Earthbound with its quirkiness. The game also has a lot of variety as a result of the many Pokemon you can catch. There are multiple ways to play the game. You can completionists, catch them all, speedrun, different percent. In a speedrun, you have the choice picking Squirtle vs Nidoran, with Red having a higher percentage of catching Nidoran than in the blue version. Having a Pokemon that's not weak versus Ice or Psychic, versus a Pokemon that's not weak versus Grass or Thunder. In later stages, it's optional to capture Zapdos or Mewtwo in the game. There's the option of skipping self-code with an exploit, skip obtaining Flash by just navigating the rock tunnel in the dark. Another gameplay tip is that learning to dig early on is very useful against Thunder Shock early in the game. It's actually very easy to screw up playing this game without practicing or memorizing the dungeons playing through at least one time, or misunderstanding someone's notes on routes, or just not believing in them until you actually experience it firsthand. But frankly, to the game's accessibility, it doesn't make it hard compared to later games outside of Diamond or Pearl, or Platinum. Also not related in the sequels, it becomes even more frustrating when you have to deal with clock or calendar manipulation, RNG, and other Pokemon stats such as happiness and getting along. Not to mention different regions, puzzles, etc. I'd also like to mention the greatness of Gary Oak, blue or green, in comparison to the anime. The game is minimalistic with its character explanations, but straight to the point. Gary's relationship is as is. Rival, Professor Oak's son. As an opponent of Gary Oak, I'm infuriated every time his Pidgey attacks, sand attacks, or whenever he says smell you later. There's also a relationship he has with Giovanni that's not explained in the game, in addition to being the first conqueror of the Elite Four. No matter what, even if you speedrun the game at a ridiculous amount of time, well, except when you do Pokemon Yellow and 000 it, Gary always beats you in Pokemon Red to being the Elite Four. Other theories in the game includes Sabrina's connection to Giovanni. Speaking of Team Rocket is a more traditional evil protagonist opposed to Gary Oak, giving you an offer you can't refuse, taking charge of Nugget Road, capturing the CEO of Self and Self Scope, and the Master of the Master Ball. They own one, possibly two gym badges if you believe in that theory. It is probably a deterrent as to why I'll take you a while to get into another game. But still, in the end, all you want to do is defeat your childhood rival, instead of caring about all the evil stuff that's happening in the world. It's a bit selfish and dark in my opinion. While a world of Pokemon catching, capturing, and crime occurs. Just a little note to end on prior to the end of the 20th anniversary of Pokemon.